You have got a premium view of my bed right now, or I suppose my wall. Bed, wall. So, there's kind of two aspects, right? So, you know, I don't know what your exact issue is when it comes to this. So, it might be something like, oh, oh, it's coming out kind of like that. And, that could be, that's kind of a result of low resonance, right? Alternately, it could be something like, you're trying to go up and it's just kind of like ah uh something like that, right? And it's just not coming out the way you want it to. So that might be actually over the top in comparison to what you're getting, or like not exactly what you're getting. But um so when we change pitch, we kind of need some other variables to come along for the ride. And these variables are typically much more relevant to voice modification and gender modification than pitch is, though pitch is, of course, a relevant variable when in context to other stuff. So the first one of these variables is resonance. So if I modify resonance alone, oh, 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 right, you can kind of hear that it kind of goes from a kind of like masculine sound to a feminine sound, right? On the other hand, right, if I change this other variable, no wait, sorry, if I'll just demo it at both, kind of like so that's obviously very kind of masculine leaning, even though the pitch is quite high. Um, I, and that's kind of like way too heavy. It might sound feminine in some ways, but it sounds a little bit odd, like I'm shouting, blah 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 blah, right? So we kind of want to work on doing two things. Um, you know, the first kind of sound I demoed in this video, the kind of like oh, it might actually be a really good sound to go for when you're first playing around with this stuff. And the reason I say this is just because that tends to kind of have less issues associated with it, or at least kind of act as a good starting block from which to modify the other stuff or the resonance. So we kind of want to work on this vocal weight aspect. So what that might sound like is going from to something softer like that, right? And obviously that's not going to change the gender of voice all on its own, right? We want to find softer sounds. Then what we want to do is take those sounds higher. Ooh, 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 right? And we're kind of like, ooh. Then we might want to modify resonance or the size of our vocal tract on top of that. Ooh, oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Right? And then you kind of come out a more feminine sound. That's actually the first time I've used a fem voice today, so cut me some slack if it wasn't perfect. But yeah, so fingers crossed that gives you some stuff to keep in mind. In terms of places to get started, I'd really recommend checking out Ziana's new beginner video, because that'll probably give you the most traction, or at least the most kind of like easy to kind of understand stuff to get started with. And then maybe checking out some of her other videos, or joining some of the trans voice communities on Discord. Those are probably your best bets. So thanks.